I want to talk a little bit about this thing I've been really kind of stewing over. Only the paranoid survive. What's going to happen in the future, and what choices would we all have made differently if we would have known, to Ben's point, kind of a broader picture. You know, we all experienced in January and February and March what felt like a staggering existential crisis that crept slowly and then exploded in front of all of us. And I can distinctly recall conversations with Tom, conversations with Mr. David Holt, and David Holt in particular. As the crisis unfolded, I remember David said, "There goes my year." Right? He literally said, like almost word for word, "There goes my year." And that's probably true for a lot of people on this call who had schedules booked out from January all the way until the holiday season in December. That this thing came along and literally obliterated many people's concepts of how they're going to live, how they're going to make money, how they're going to take care of their clients. And it felt sudden. But the fact of the matter is, in September of last year, the White House's Economic Council presented the administration with a very clear report talking about the potential economic impacts of pandemic-type occurrences that were beginning to occur in China in particular. And that was last fall. The question I like to think about is, had I known that then, would I have made different choices? If I had a 4 or 5 month head start, would I have worked differently on the things that were weaknesses in my business that I would have been able to make better predictions about? And I doubt there's anybody on this call that wouldn't have liked a 5 month head start. And so when I talk about paranoia, I don't talk about it in a clinical sense. I'm not qualified to make that type of determination, nor would I. I'm talking about it in the sense that in order to be successful, it's equally important that you scrutinize your blind spots and you ask yourself where you're exposed and what types of threats can take you out or severely hinder your ability to take care of your clients and your company. By the way, source material on that is New York Times, and I'd be happy to send you the link via Nick Kristof. So the question I'd like to ask is, what scares you in the next year? Right? What things really keep you up at night right now? What 1 or 2 things could nail you? And have you been asking that question, or have you been saying, well, it feels like the market's kind of getting back to normal. Fewer people are wearing masks. Travel restrictions seem to be loosening up. But I think that this is an important question because we're not done yet. And we shouldn't get complacent, and we shouldn't act like people aren't dying. We shouldn't act like huge industries and businesses haven't actually just been scraped off of the economic map right now. It's still happening. And we still have to deal with it, despite the fact that we're a, quote, essential service. What scares you in the next year? And what 1 or 2 things could nail you? You look at our industry, there's some lessons that we can probably learn. If we would have had a 5 month head start, fragile supply chains, transportation constrictions, manufacturing bottlenecks, shelter in place restrictions, plant-wide health mandates. Right now, we're seeing the impact in real time, and many of our friends and contractors are dealing with the fact that the sheer unexpectedness of this and that it wasn't something that was being thought of has now, to a greater or lesser extent, put us in a position to play catch up. And, on a personal or on a contractor level, were you blindsided by this, right? Were you in a good cash position? How were you? What was your liquidity position? Did your leads dry up super fast? Did you have to struggle to retain your employees? Consumer insecurity, unusual seasonal downturns. Were you caught, unawares or flat-footed by this? We all have to confront our vulnerabilities. That's when I think about the habits of highly successful contractors. All of us have weaknesses. All of us have vulnerabilities. And we also have to confront the limitations that are inherent in our own companies so that we can be proactive, so that we don't find ourselves reeling, in another 3 to 4 months or another 12 months. So I think, to the question, what are the habits of highly successful contractors? They don't believe that hope is a strategy. They actively work to identify both the strengths and the weaknesses in their businesses, and they take the correct steps to prevent themselves from getting blindsided by unexpected events that they didn't have an advantageous head start around. So I hope that makes sense, and I would encourage anybody to think about it as it pertains to their own book of business as well. So